Honorable and respected brothers and elders, this ummah has been taught such things, and one of the things which has been stressed on very big within our deen are the rights of other people. The huququl ibad. You have huququllah and huququl ibad. You have the rights of people and then you have the rights of individuals. If you want to quantify it by way of looking into sort of books, you'll see that, for example, one very popular book which is read in the alim class when you become a Maulana, a Maulvi, a scholar, if you want to study one book, it's called Hidayah. So it's a comparative fiqh book. Using that as an example, you have it split into 4 big volumes. One volume is Huququllah, meaning Salah, fasting, Zakat, Hajj, and so on. And the rest of the 3 volumes are in relation to Huququl Ibad, how to get married, what are the issues of talaq, business dealings, financial transactions, and all of this stuff. Our deen put emphasis on the dealings with people. Our deen put emphasis on how you are supposed to deal with another person. Whenever Islam has taught us this thing, that if you want to see how you're acting with someone, put yourself in their shoes. So how you're talking to somebody else, would you like someone to address you in the same way? Let's just say you make an error. You've got 2 types of people. One, people say, the Maulana should stand up and say, Bhai, khuda ka khauf karo, look at what you're doing, and slander and slate him in public. And other people think, Nini, the approach should be a bit more of a softer one. So you have these mixed emotions. Put that to the side for a second. I ask you, if you did something wrong in society, how do you want to be addressed? How do you want to be dealt with? So you see, this is what our deen emphasized, stressed, and encouraged. To always put yourself in the position of other people. One of the things which we covered last week, and carrying on from there, is about the dealings of people when it comes to things of hasad, jealousy and envy. Carrying on from there, why do people, I'm tying this other new topic in, and that is called backbiting and ghibat, or ghibah. Why does this happen? It happens generally because people are jealous of another person. They harbor anger, sorry, beg your pardon, this was the week before last, that and anger combined. So last week anger and then hasad. Generally people feel anger towards someone, hasad towards someone, jealousy towards someone. They feel a sense of pride over somebody. And that encourages them or makes them sometimes, or a lot of the time, start backbiting about another person. Now let's try and understand. Brother, do you understand Urdu?
Sorry?
Do you understand Urdu?
Yeah.
Okay. What is ghibat? Ghibat kya hai? If backbiting, what is it defined as? In Arabic we say, ذِكْرُكَ أَخَاكَ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ. ذِكْرُكَ أَخَاكَ بِمَا يَكْرَهُ. Talking about your fellow Muslim brother or sister in such a way that if he or she were to hear that, they would become offended. They would dislike it. Even if it's true. So Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said this to Sahaba, and they mentioned, وَإِن كَانَ فِيهِ مَا أَقُولُ, O Prophet of Allah, if what I say, what if it's true? So we have one Musalli brother, one Muslim brother, and on the weekend, bichara, he likes to do a bit of najais stuff. And I say, Bhai, aapko nahi pata? Ahmed Bhai drinks alcohol on the weekend. Ahmed Bhai was with this girl. This boy was with... I started using the name Ahmed, but I'm just giving an example. Ma'adallah. I'm just, koi Ahmed Shahmed nahi hai. I'm just giving an example by way of example. Even though that's true, the fact that he will dislike that when he hears it, still a ghibat. So we shouldn't think, nahi, baat hui aisi. That's exactly what happened. Even if it happened, it had nothing to do with the likes of you and I. Because Allah judges, not you and me. Because that's huququllah. If I say to you, Bhai, Ahmed Bhai doesn't read namaz, what's it got to do with me? That's Allah to judge. Ahmed Bhai doesn't keep roza, man. Doesn't even fast, bruv, you get me? Man doesn't even keep roza. What's that got to do with me? Because that's between him and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So main hakim nahi hoon. I'm not the hakim. I'm not the leader. I'm not the judge. Allah tabarak wa ta'ala is the judge. And that's why it doesn't give us the right to judge people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned, أَيُحِبُّ أَحَدُكُمْ أَن يَأْكُلَ لَحْمَ أَخِيهِ مَيْتًا فَكَرِهْتُمُوهُ. Would anybody of you like to eat the dead flesh of his brother you'd dislike it. Now look here. Allah mentions ghibat, saying it's like eating the flesh of your dead Muslim brother. Dead Muslim brother. Why dead? It's because a dead person has uski difa nahi kar sakta. He can't push it away. Bichara majboor hai. If you do some zulm to this person who's dead, he can't make difa of himself. And also he becomes unaware. Because a dead person, as he is unable, he is also unaware. And also another thing, when a person departs from this world and we do some zulm to them, when a person dies, the chances of us tying the loose ends, asking for mafi talafi, mafi shafi, whatever you want to call it, it becomes mahal and impossible because the person's gone and dead. So this is why Allah, to bring out the dislike, the sensitivity, the disgrace of such an act, He gives tashbih with it. It's like you eating your dead Muslim brother's flesh. Would you like to do that? No. فَكَرِهْتُمُ, you dislike it, so why do it? It comes a thing, Allah maaf farmaye, right? Because why do we have to mention this? This is what we unfortunately have in our gatherings. And it might be just a passing comment. I saw such and such a person. We just say it so laid back and I am not there to judge. Allah is to judge. I have no right in looking down upon people, because fil hal, I don't know really, will I even depart from the dunya with iman or not? Only Allah knows. I can be hopeful that Allah will take me from this world with iman, but I can't say for sure. I've got to be hopeful, bas. I can't say, gee, main to pakka, I'm going with iman, bhai. What guarantee do you have? What guarantee do I have? So that's why we should never look down upon other individuals. The thing is here is that now the sensitivity is such, is that if a person, God forbid, did this, and you are also involved and you don't stop that individual, you are an accomplice in that guna as well. That's also the problem. You can say, bhai usne kaha, maine to nahi kaha. Bhai aapne roka bhi to nahi hai na. You didn't stop the geezer from talking that nonsense, right? You didn't intervene and tell that brother not to say that. So you're also an accomplice within that particular thing. So it's like some people say, I was just sitting there and I'm not involved in meto. But if someone was talking about your father, would you have interrupted? If someone was talking about your daughter, your mother, would you have interrupted? Because you look down upon him. Why should I care? He is like that. So the fact is, we are an accomplice because we didn't stick up for that individual. This is why also we are also sharik in that guna. But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that sahabi, he said, Ya Rasulullah, in kana fihi ma aqul, what if that thing which I talk about my brother is in him? He or she does that. In kana fihi ma taqul faqad ighdabta, wa in lam takun fihi ma taqul faqad bahatta. If what you say about that person is true, then you've made ghibat of that individual. But if you made up a lie and it's false, it's not true, it's buhtan, which is even worse than ghibat because it's not even true. It's a complete lie and a complete lot of nonsense. And unfortunately, women are a bit more tears when it comes to this one in comparison to men. Their gatherings, Allah Ram Kare, always people buraya and talking about people's business all the time. You see, if we're in a gathering, if we're people of haqq, we should say to people, please leave it, man. We don't know the brother. Leave it. It's between him and Allah. Chora yaar, matti pao yaar. It's between him and Allah. But we don't do that. We rather become an accomplice. We're like, acha, oh yaar, main bhi oh gal suni thi yaar. I also heard that as well. Ulta, we put more fuel on the fire. So this is, Allah Ta'ala didn't create us for this. Allah Ta'ala created us to be upright individuals, to be people of the haqq. We don't look at anything else. We look at what's right. Now check this out. Khuda na khasta, if you did ghibat of somebody, how do you get the mafi talafi? How do you actually settle the score? There's two possibilities. Either the person's alive or he's dead. Let's assume they're alive. Now let's just use an example. Person A and person B, they talk about person C. You understand in the scenario, yeah? So these two people are talking about this person. Person A says to person B, yaar, that banda drinks alcohol, he's a sharabi. He's such a gunegar. I saw him raving in the local club, bro. He had a beanie in his arm and he was just mashing it up. Okay, he did wrong. That's between him and Allah. That person should say to person B, brother, last week here I said to you about person C. I'm wrong, I shouldn't say that. I have no right to judge him. May Allah forgive me for what I said. He's probably not like that at all. And if it is, it's between him and Allah. You've undone the ghibat which you've said. Do you understand? But you've gone back on your tracks. Aapne uski tareef kar diya. So that's what, you kind of... Then if you ask Allah for forgiveness, inshallah Allah will forgive. But then what if that's if he doesn't know that you spoke about him? What if he finds out you did speak about him? Then what do? Okay, I heard, okay, 2 people are speaking about me. How does that person now come and ask, how does he make because in this instance, person C was unaware. He didn't know, okay, someone was talking about me. If he becomes aware, that person has to now say to person B, I did wrong, and then go to person C and say, look, maaf karna, I did mention something about you in public, and I'm just asking for your forgiveness. मैंने गलती की, and मैंने उसको भी समझा दिया, मैं आपको भी समझा रहा हूँ, आपसे माफी मांग रहा हूँ. If that person forgives from his heart, one thing is ऊपर से भी हाँ ठीक है यार गल छड़ी है कोई ऐसा कहीं फिक्र है अब मुट्ठी पा छोड़ी अब दाना 10 दिन बिते मैंने छोड़ दिया ऊपर से. You don't know what is in that person's heart. He could just say, no, brother, alhamdulillah, forgiven for Allah. Which he is saying to himself, Putur, Jahannam tudaki. I'm going to make sure on the day of judgment you get your badra. So we don't know. That's why it's delicate, because if he does know that, if he doesn't feel that he wants to forgive, how the heck are we going to get forgiveness out of that geezer now? So that's why it means that that person's to go to person B and say, Bayi, look, you know what I said about that person? Wallahi, he was wrong. I shouldn't have said that. I'm wrong. He's actually a good person. Maybe it's just my emotions. Then go to person C if he heard and say, Bayi, please, I made a mistake and I said something wrong, Bayi, maaf karna for the sake of Allah. Lekin Allah rehm kare, we are so mutakabbir, right? It doesn't allow us to. We say, yeah, man, why should I go to him? Over there, yeah, man. Who is he, big or am I? So we play that card. Or we don't realize we're trying to play the God card here. We're trying to think we're better than other people. This is when Allah's ghadab comes down and Allah doesn't forgive. Allah say, ulta, you do wrong, and then you ulta become badmash with it as well. So there's a double nuqsan here. That's why we're taught to have a bit of ajizi, a bit of humility, a bit of humbleness. When you make a mistake, accept you made a mistake. Khalas, you made a mistake. You're human. I've made mistakes. You make mistakes. To admit you've done the mistake is half of the correction. Right? Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. We're not too big to ask people for forgiveness, number one. Secondly, when you make a mistake, if you admit that you're wrong and just ask for a humble apology, 9 times out of 10 that person will forgive you, unless he himself is so besharam that he's got it in his heart that he just has enmity against anybody. In that case, that person will live a sad life because he's constantly at enmity with himself and others. However, now the problem is that let's just say that person did know you did ghibbat about them and died, and you never asked for forgiveness. The bottom line is, there is no way of asking forgiveness from that person from that day into the day of judgment. There is just no way. You can't ask for forgiveness from someone who's dead. So ulama mention, there's only one possibility what you can do. You can keep on making dua for that person, maybe give some sadaqah on their behalf, do something until your heart is mutmain. Okay, I'm sure he would have forgiven me by now. But you don't know, because your anger might be different from my anger. My anger might be, nah bro, that took the mick. I had this as an imam, unfortunately. A lot of people, some guy made up some stuff and made up a buhtan. And wallahi, it shook me so much that I had nafrat even to go to the masjid. So I can tell you on a personal scale, that on a personal level, that when people make up things and lies, if it's something which I did, fair enough, I get offended. But if you make up a lie, ajib, subhanallah, it's buhtan, it's not even fair, you didn't even do that. So I'm saying that as a personal experience, I've also experienced this as well. But may Allah save us. As a community, if we don't rid this from ourselves, it becomes a problem. If you have a problem with somebody, brother, be a man, go up to the person and say, bro, I need to chat to you a bit, man. And just me, we need to have a chat. And be open and say, look, you offended me when you said this. If that person's a besharam, he'll turn around and say, I don't care. But if he's any decent insan, he'll say, do you know, brother, I'm sorry, man. Forgive me for the sake of Allah. That is more izzat in the sight of Allah than being mutakabbir and saying, who are you? Ultimately, in the long run, you will become zaleel. But if a person learns to forgive and says, nahi yaar, waqi, when I think I'm wrong, so I ask for forgiveness. Wallah, Allah will give you izzat in the sight of the people, and you will also be at ease and peace with yourself. So khair, let's finish off on this because I've taken 2 minutes more than what I should have. May Allah guide us and help us, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana, alhamdulillah.